My jealous sister tried to sabotage my relationship by telling her I was an unstable liar. But what happened next was the most satisfying thing in my life. I had no intention of airing family drama online, but honestly, I'm so upset that I can't just let this go. Here's the situation. I've got my life fairly together. I worked hard all through college, landed a good engineering job, and kept a low profile. No wild parties, no arrests, nothing like that. I'm not perfect, but I don't have skeletons in the closet. For the last 4 years, I've been with my girlfriend, Riley. She's smart, beautiful, incredibly funny, and rock solid. She's not the kind of person who plays games or gets swept up in drama. We've built something real, something most people our age don't even know how to start. We were talking about moving in together this summer. Lease signed, buying furniture, the whole deal. Everything was finally calm, until Megan showed up. Megan is my older sister. And when I say older, I mean she's been acting like a reckless teenager for the past 10 years. She married a loser right out of high school, dropped out of college, spent years jumping from part-time job to part-time job, and eventually ended up in the middle of a nasty divorce. No money, no apartment, no real friends to help her. My parents, who used to bend over backwards for her, finally cut her off. After years of bailing her out, they were done. And honestly, I couldn't blame them. She called me a few months ago practically begging. I told her she could stay at my place for a few months until she got on her feet. I set boundaries from day one. Pay for your own stuff. Don't touch my things. Don't get involved in my relationship. Simple and pretty reasonable if you ask me. At first, she agreed. She helped clean, cooked a few meals, acted like she had it all together. Riley wasn't thrilled, but she trusted me to handle it. Looking back, it all seemed way too much like an act on Megan's part. Then she began her little show. Sure, it started small with subtle comments. Those remarks like, "Wow, she really trusts you. She's probably never heard the college stories about you. You were such a wild one back then." At first, I brushed it off. I wasn't a saint in college. Sure, I drank, stayed out late sometimes, but I wasn't a womanizer or irresponsible. And most importantly, I wasn't unfaithful to anyone, especially not Riley. I didn't even meet her until after that phase of my life. I chalked it up to Megan being bitter. She's always had a way of twisting things to fit whatever drama she's in. I should have seen what was coming. Then Riley started asking strange questions. At first, subtle, like she didn't want to offend me or accuse me of anything. She said things like, "Were you different back then? Did you ever feel like you weren't a relationship person?" The first time, I brushed it off with a laugh. But the second time, then the third, I got it. Someone was putting ideas in her head. I confronted her directly. She hesitated, then admitted that Megan had mentioned I was a heartbreaker in college, that I couldn't keep my pants on, that I had a type of girl and Riley wasn't it, that she was just the safe bet for me. First, because it was complete nonsense. And second, because I didn't even live in the same city as Megan during college. She was off playing house with her loser husband while I was busting my butt in another state. It was pure garbage made up from thin air. And yet Riley, my girlfriend, was hearing it. Meanwhile, Megan acted totally normal with me. Joking, watching TV, cooking, like she wasn't trying to destroy my relationship behind my back. I decided I needed to get ahead of it. But the breaking point came last night. I found a half-written journal Megan left open on the coffee table. Normally, I respect privacy, but she was staying in my house and stirring up drama. I wasn't going to give her another chance. In the journal, she wrote about how she was protecting Riley, how she was saving her from heartbreak, because I was born to cheat and didn't know how to love someone. She really saw herself as the hero in the story. She truly thought she was doing the right thing. I took a photo of it just in case because you never know. When Riley got home, I showed her. I said flat out that if she's doubting me because of Megan, we need to talk it out now before this gets worse. Riley looked like she wanted to throw up. She said she needed time to think. Now I'm here, writing this, wondering what the hell is going to happen with her. I'm not going to let my sister destroy my life because she can't handle hers. I'm giving Riley space, but Megan has less than 24 hours to pack her stuff. She crossed a line she can't come back from. Edit, because some people seem to be getting the wrong idea about Riley. Let me clarify. I understand how it might sound from the outside, like she's insecure or naive, easily manipulated just because my sister whispered a few things in her ear. That's not who Riley is. She's probably one of the most self-confident people I've met. She's not the type to snoop through phones, get upset over baseless accusations, or let anyone, family or not, mess with her head that easily. But she's also smart enough to know when to ask questions instead of making assumptions. That's the difference. She didn't come accusing me of anything. She didn't start any drama. She just wanted to clarify her thoughts because the situation felt off. And honestly, she wasn't wrong. Something was off. Riley is the kind of person who stands up for herself and the people she loves. That's part of why I'm sharing this. Not because I think she's weak, but because I know she's strong enough to handle the truth and hold her ground when necessary. If the roles were reversed, if one of my friends came to me with whispers that Riley had some dark secret she never told me, I'd have questions, too. That doesn't mean I'd blindly believe it. It means I'd go straight to the source and have a real adult conversation, which is exactly what Riley's doing. Megan underestimated Riley by thinking she could tangle her up so easily. Riley is no pawn, and she definitely isn't someone you can turn against me with a few lies, if at all. This whole situation is only bringing us closer together, and Megan's about to learn that the hard way. Anyway, just wanted to clear that up before I post an update. I appreciate the people who get it. Update 1. First of all, I appreciate anyone who takes the time to read my story. Now, let me fill you in on the update, and believe me, it's a good one. Things at home after I posted weren't going great. Megan kept lurking around, pretending to mind her own business. But it was obvious she was just waiting for the perfect moment to strike again, and she had to be patient, because that moment came the second Riley showed up at my place. When Riley arrived, everything seemed normal at first. She came in smiling, gave me a hug, a quick kiss on the cheek like always. But when her eyes landed on Megan sitting on the couch, something changed. It was more like total annoyance. Riley sensed the tension immediately, and Megan didn't even try to hide her discomfort. She was pretending to look at her phone, but every few seconds she'd glance up, shooting us looks. I didn't say anything. Riley's not stupid. She picked up on it right away, and knowing her, she wouldn't let this slide. As expected, Riley didn't back down. We sat on the couch, ordered food, got ready to chill and play video games. But Megan couldn't let things stay calm for long. She waited for the exact moment I went into the kitchen and then made her move. Later, Riley told me what happened. Megan's approach was classic, acting all sweet, pretending she was just worried. She plastered on a fake smile and tried to have a heart-to-heart, telling Riley she had concerns about me. Of course, she wasn't truly worried about me. She was trying to get Riley to buy into her twisted story. Megan started with a long, complicated monologue about my so-called dark past, trying to paint me as emotionally unstable. She said I was a deranged liar and was faking my love for Riley. She even hinted that Riley was young and could still walk away before it was too late. However, Riley didn't react the way Megan expected. She let her talk, allowing her to dig her own grave. Riley just stood there quietly until Megan finally ran out of steam. It was almost like Riley was giving her enough rope to hang herself. After Megan finished her speech, Riley stayed silent for a moment. Then, to Megan's surprise, Riley simply laughed, making it clear she was fully aware of how ridiculous Megan sounded. She couldn't help but mock her for trying to sell such a terrible story. Riley didn't hold back. She told Megan that if she really thought she'd believe any of that, she was sorely mistaken. After spending years with me, Riley knew exactly who I was, and Megan's lies weren't even close to making her doubt it. Yes, it made her realize just how deeply Megan had been scheming to create drama where there was none. Riley called her jealous, bitter, and unable to stand seeing me happy with someone else. Riley didn't stop there. Megan's face turned as red as a tomato. She went from feeling arrogant and confident to totally embarrassed. She tried to make excuses, saying she just wanted to help and had no bad intentions. But Riley didn't believe her for a second. With nowhere else to go, Megan did what she does best. She ran off to her bedroom, slamming the door behind her. Riley, on the other hand, stayed calm. Then, when I came back, she joked that I owed her ice cream for not punching Megan. At that point, I already knew Riley could stand up for herself, but when she told me everything that happened, I was honestly blown away. She wasn't just defending me, she was making it clear that nobody, not even my sister, could drive us apart. Later that night, Megan sent Riley a long text message trying to apologize for overstepping and insisting she was only being protective. Riley didn't respond. The next morning, she blocked her everywhere. No explanation, no drama. Since then, Megan has been avoiding both of us. She knows she can't pull any more stunts without looking even more pathetic than she already does. The 24-hour period has passed, which means she was kicked out of the house. I wouldn't say she left willingly. It took a bit of effort to get her out of here. Update 2. Well, a few days have gone by and things are as they've been for a while now. After Megan made that nasty comment to Riley, which Riley handled like a boss, I realized that just kicking her out wasn't going to be enough. She could still try to pull something. I wasn't going to let my sister keep up her stupid crusade, even if Riley wasn't going to believe her. After Riley left the house, I called Megan. I told her I knew exactly what she'd said. I told her she had completely crossed the line. And I told her one more stunt like that, and she'd be left without a brother. No more help of any kind. You'd think a grown woman would apologize or at least back down. Right? But nope. Megan doubled down. She complained that I'd already kicked her out, and now she had to sleep on a tiny couch at a friend's place. She said that proved what kind of person I was, and that Riley deserved to know who I really was. I asked her if she seriously believed she was protecting Riley from me. She had nothing, just vague insults and random, incoherent stories that made no sense. The call ended with her hanging up like a teenager. I thought that was it for the night. I was wrong. The next morning, Riley sent me a text that made my blood boil. "Hey, why did your sister message me last night?" Apparently, after our argument, Megan went totally off the rails, sending Riley a huge wall of text from her friend's phone. It wasn't just rude comments now. This time she sent fake proof, old photos from college parties, literally public Instagram posts that Riley had already seen. Then she weaved an absurd story that I was hiding my true self and couldn't be faithful. She even dragged my ex-girlfriend into it. A girl I dated for like 3 months in my freshman year, trying to make it sound like I was a serial cheater. It was desperate and pathetic. Riley sent me screenshots of everything. Her reply to Megan was short. "You should be ashamed. If you really cared about your brother, you'd support his happiness, not sabotage it. Lose my number." God, I love that woman. At this point, Megan had officially crossed a line she couldn't return from. So I did what I had to do. I packed the belongings she'd left behind when she was thrown out on bad terms and set them neatly, or not so neatly, by the door. I didn't want her stomping back in if she had to pick anything up. Finally, I called to tell her she could come get her stuff, but she didn't answer, so I left a message. Eventually, she showed up. She tried playing the victim, tears and guilt trip and all. "Oh, my things all ruined outside, and all because I was trying to help you both." She tried to spin it like she was strengthening our relationship by making us go through a crisis. "You'll regret this when she breaks your heart," she said. And I told her, "You'll regret biting the hand that feeds you. If you were worried about your stuff, maybe you should have thought of that before you tried to wreck my relationship again." She grabbed her stuff and left in a storm of passive-aggressive muttering. But my update doesn't end there. 2 days later, my mom called me. Apparently, Megan ran straight to her place, crying about how cold I was and how I kicked her to the curb. My mom was upset, obviously. She's a mom. It hurts her to see her kids fighting. But when I explained everything to her and sent her the screenshots Riley gave me, she was truly disgusted. She apologized for even questioning me and said Megan needed a serious reality check. Dad wasn't so forgiving. He called Megan and told her straight up that she'd disgraced the family and wasn't welcome at their house until she apologized to both me and Riley. So now Megan is basically in a self-imposed exile. She hasn't apologized and has barely messaged me, just one pathetic text. "I hope you're happy. I don't know what Riley sees in a fish face like you." I left it on red. Meanwhile, Riley and I are great, better than ever, honestly. All this drama somehow made things even stronger between us. So in some twisted way, my sister was right, though she didn't do it for that reason. Riley had been talking about officially moving in for a while, and after all this, it felt like the right moment. So yeah, yesterday we signed a lease together. New place, fresh start. No chaotic goblins living for free allowed. We move in 2 weeks. Update 3. Before I start, I just want to thank the good, sensible people who have taken my side. I've also gotten comments from people who seem just as unhinged as Megan, folks who read my story and latched onto some random phrase to attack me with, like, in the end, Megan helped your relationship because it made it stronger, and you're making a fuss over nothing. Well, good for you. I have some words. First, yes, my relationship is stronger because Riley isn't easily influenced. That's great, and I love that she isn't. But that doesn't take away from the fact that my sister tried to destroy my life. Second, if you think my sister was helping me, you might want to see a doctor ASAP. The crayon lodged in your brain is messing up your thinking. Anyway, enough attention to people who share opinions just because talking is free and they left their brains at home. After we got rid of Megan, things actually felt good for a while, which shows who the real problem was. Riley and I were just normal. We also talked more about it. Riley admitted that while she never really believed Megan's nonsense, hearing all that crap over and over did get to her. Not because she thought I was guilty, but because it made her wonder why Megan was so obsessed with it in the first place. It's fair. When people start spreading rumors that don't benefit them at all, it's usually personal. She wondered if there might be some emotional incest or something like that, which disgusted me more than you can imagine. Not just because she's my sister, but because she's the most entitled person I've ever met. Anyway, about a week later, Riley gets a call from my mom, which was odd. They get along, but they're not the type to just call for a casual chat. I could tell something was wrong by the way Riley's face tensed when she picked up. Apparently, Megan had gone crying to my parents. Again, mostly my mom. Not about being kicked out or mistreated, but she made up a whole new story that Riley was controlling me, isolating me, and trying to turn me against my family. In other words, Megan realized that attacking me wasn't working, so she flipped the script to make Riley the villain. I only found out because Riley told me everything right away. That's us. No secrets, no games. Immediately, I called my mom. She answered, and as soon as I brought it up, she got defensive, saying Megan was emotional and just trying to look out for me. I asked her point blank if she really believed Riley was controlling or manipulative. My mom tried to dodge the question, but I could tell Megan's seeds had started to grow. It pissed me off, I won't lie, because come on, they know Megan and how she is. Last time, they saw right through her lies and didn't care. My best guess is Megan bugged my mom so much that she decided to play along just to get Megan off her back. But I know my dad wouldn't agree with this. I didn't tell him because that would bring even more drama with my parents, and I think he's fine not knowing. But back to what I was saying. Riley has never isolated me from anything. She's actually always encouraged me to stay close to my family, even when they're difficult. I ended the call by telling my mom, I'm an adult. If you really have a problem with Riley, talk to me directly. Don't do this whisper campaign like we're in high school. Riley, being Riley, stayed calm. She said, You're not responsible for their behavior, only your own. That's when I realized something big. This whole time, Megan wasn't just trying to ruin my relationship. She was trying to make sure she remained relevant in my life, even if she had to burn every bridge to do it. The final straw came a couple of days later. Riley and I were at a mutual friend's birthday party. A normal event, people we've known for years. Guess who showed up? Megan. But the crazy thing is she wasn't invited. She found out through Instagram. At first, she stayed in the back near the bar. Then, when Riley and I were on the other side of the room talking to some friends, Megan went up to a group of mutual acquaintances, people who didn't know the whole story, and started trash-talking Riley. I didn't even hear it firsthand. One of my friends, Tom, overheard and immediately told me, Dude, Your sister is making Riley sound like some clingy chick. I walked right up to Megan and told her, this has to stop right now. I said if she ever showed up uninvited again, if she ever tried to involve my friends or my girlfriend, we would get lawyers involved. I don't care that she's my sister. This ends now. She tried to play the I only care about you card once more. I told her, if you care, do it from a distance. Riley and I left right after that just to avoid making things worse. Since then, there haven't been any messages or calls. Nothing from Megan. I'm not sure what's next with my family. Obviously, Megan's made my mom half believe her version of things, but for now, I'm focusing on Riley and keeping the people who deserve to be in my life in it. Riley never made me choose between her and my family. She told me this was my decision, the boundary I have to set, and that's exactly why I'm choosing her. Update 4. I figured I owed an update to everyone who's been following this ridiculous situation. A few days after the drama of her crashing that party uninvited, I started getting messages from friends and family acquaintances. My phone blew up with vague texts. Hey man, I heard some crazy stuff. At first I didn't even connect the dots. I thought maybe someone from high school had been arrested or something. But no. Turns out Megan had been busy, reaching out to anyone she could. Old neighbors, family friends, distant relatives I haven't seen in ages. She told them I was unstable, emotionally abusive, and even said I was dangerous and Riley was afraid to leave me. None of it made sense to the people who actually know me, but you know how it goes. Rumors spread faster than the truth. Riley saw the messages I was getting and sat me down for a talk. She said plainly, we can't live like this, not with her always lurking. And she was right. I threatened Megan once, and she decided not to listen. Threats only work if you're willing to follow through. We called a lawyer, and now we're suing my sister for defamation as well as harassment. It's going to be a monetary suit, but we're also asking for a restraining order preventing her from talking about us. It's just getting started, and it's already causing me stress. I'm anxious because I wish I could have that order in hand right now to silence her once and for all. The good thing is, as she keeps talking, it only helps our case. We're gathering all the evidence we can, forwarding it to my attorney. Update 5. The first thing we got was a restraining order, which was quickly put to use. Megan decided to violate it, trying to reason with us and stop this craziness, in her words. But when we saw it was her, my plan was to call the police. Riley, however, said she'd do it while she went out to speak to Megan face to face. Megan wasn't expecting Riley, so she was caught off guard. When Riley went out, they started arguing. Megan told her that everything I was doing with the lawsuit was a clear sign I wasn't someone she could trust. In Megan's view, I was trying to silence anyone who wanted to warn Riley. It's funny, depending on who asks my sister, she has a different answer. I'm bad, I'm different, etc. Riley told her to shut up for once and mind her own business, but Megan wanted to escalate even more. She started saying if Riley was afraid to leave me or whatever, she could count on Megan, that Megan would protect her. Then Megan grabbed Riley by the arm and tried to pull her away, but Riley jerked free and pushed her in one move that made Megan fall. Then she told Megan not to touch her again or she'd leave her face bruised like a piece of fruit. Megan shouted that she only wanted to help and that Riley was just as violent as me. Finally, the police showed up, and we explained everything. It didn't take much for them to take her away, where she spent 30 days. Now you might wonder if she tried anything after getting out. The reality is no. But that's because my dad stepped in again after her release. She went straight to their house, trying to stay there. And while my mom was open to the idea, my dad said, no way. He also told her to leave her brother and his girlfriend alone. Even though she looked to my mom for help, my mom ended up telling her that it was best if she stayed away from me for a while. After that came the other lawsuits, which got a bit juicier thanks to her arrest. She has to compensate us for an amount I won't disclose. Riley and I think we might use it to decorate our new place and save the rest. For me, this was the most satisfying thing in my life. Yeah, it wasn't pretty living through it, but seeing how it turned out, I can't complain. If my sister tries anything again, she'll face a lot more than 30 days behind bars. but I trust she's learned her lesson. Plus, there's the money. Money is always satisfying, especially when it comes from people who deserve to pay for what they've done. So has it been quiet since her arrest? Months have passed, and we haven't heard a single thing from her. Nothing. Not even when we got the results of the lawsuit a few weeks ago. She's probably found someone else to harass. If anyone out there finds a woman named Megan, divorced, trying to ruin their relationship, maybe she's at it again. At least it'll be nice to read about it and not be the main character for once. I also hope this can be the end of my own story.